मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। Hope you have that one paper in which we have the invocation for Bhagavatam. Satchidanandarupaya Vishvotpatyadihetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Numaha. निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतः चार्तेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। धर्मः प्रोज्झितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सताम् वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम्। श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिस्तक्षणात्। Srimad Bhagavatam is a very sacred text of which we have seen through the first and the second canto. But this third canto seems to be giving us definite starting trouble. So that's why today I thought I would invoke Ganesh ji also. Because it was cancelled twice, right? So this is the third attempt. So hope in the third attempt, with his grace, we go through this Bhagavatam uninterrupted. Well, the number of cantos is less than number of chapters in Bhagavad Gita, but the number of shlokas is much larger than when compared to Bhagavad Gita. So I'll again start with the recapture and the first chapter of the third canto. We'll start from there. So far, we have seen the greatness or Mahatmya of Bhagavat Mahapurana. How, when one reads through Bhagavat Mahapurana, to understand the glories of the Lord, and also to understand the glories of the devotees of the Lord. So we come across various devotees with various backgrounds. Definitely, while going through Bhagavat, we get a confidence that if these people with this kind of background could be such great devotees in their lifetime, definitely you, me and everybody still have a hope. We are not that hopeless. We still have a great chance. So there is this first canto, or not even first canto, the first Mahatmya, the 6 chapters from Padma Purana, very beautifully highlight the story of a Brahmana and his wife who swaps the children because she did not want to get pregnant. Her assumption was that if you do get pregnant, it will spoil her beauty. And she had various reasons. Who will carry 9 months of burden? I am not ready for it. So she swaps a kid from her sister, who was willing to give that child at a certain amount. You pay my husband a certain amount and you can take my child. And her husband had tried, he was tired of his trials, so was thinking that what is a life without having a kid? Because in those days the definition of putra was pum nama narakat trayate iti putraha. The one who saves the father and the family from hell is called putra. But it is only after he got his son Dhundhukari, he understood the actual meaning or the hidden meaning of putra. What are children? Children are those who can create dispassion in this very life so that our minds tune to the Lord. So he understood. Pum nama narakam atraiva darshayate iti putraha. The one who could show all the experiences of naraka or hell here itself. That Dhundhukari, a treacherous fellow, did all kinds of crimes, all kinds of sins that could be marked in the book. So he played by the book to perform all kinds of sins. He used to have 3 prostitutes along with him, and they got scared because of his crimes. And when he had earned enough, they planned, and one day they tied him down to the bed, forcefully, brutally killed him, and just to confirm that he is dead, threw him in the well also. And now that Dhundhukari was hanging in the air as a bhuta. His father, he had another child from the blessings of a sage who was named Gokarna, who had gone on a Tirtha Yatra, who comes back and then meets this Dhundhukari. See, if you have nothing to fear about and you have firm abundance in Lord, what can one bhoot come and disturb you or distract you? So somebody asked me, Swamiji, are there bhoot in this world? Are there these ghosts and spirits in this world? Bhoot hai kya? So I said, if you are there, why should not the bhoot be? My meaning was that we are Pancha Mahabhuta, 5 times strongly existing. Then why should not that Bhuta be, that ghost be? So this Dhundhukari was hanging in the air, changed different formats, wanted to speak to his brother but could not utter a word. Then finally, Mantritam, he took some water and chanted some mantras and sprinkled on that Bhuta. Finally, with choked voice, he spoke to his brother. Now Gokarna was surprised. He said, I knew about you that you were dead. So I had gone to Gaya, Brahmakapala and all these Tirtha Kshetras wherein I performed your Shraddha Karma. And still you are hanging in here. What kind of atrocious deeds did you do? That nothing of these Punya Karmas are redeeming you from this world. And finally he finds out that Bhagavat Shravana is the greatest act of Punya, by hearing through which, by doing Shravana, Manana and Nidhyasana of which, one can attain salvation. Now this Dhundhukari attained in 7 days. Probably he had gone through so much of torture, his focus was single pointed. He was not disturbed by anything else. He wanted to get rid of that kind of a life. But Gokarna was surprised. He said, because the people from heavens came and took him, and he said, hey, stop. I have been the speaker, I have also spoken about this Bhagavat, I don't get moksha. These people, others who have been hearing, and they also don't get moksha. What is the reason? Then they said that you all have just heard because your ears by default are open. He not just heard, but he did the Manana, Nididhyasana and the Upasana in these 7 days. Thus he could free himself from all kinds of bondages. So Gokarna does the second round. The first round for his brother and second round for himself and the rest of them. It is said in the Padma Purana that there were more than one. In fact they say Sahasrakhyam. Infinite number of, and as many number of Shrotas were there, that many chariots came down from heaven to take them back. Wishing, hoping. Yes, I could add that in my wish list. Wishing and hoping that such a spectacular incident should and would happen here also. Now this premise of this Bhagavat Mahapurana starts with a great king called Parikshita. Parikshit, who was cursed by a Brahmin boy because in certain weak moment he had done something which he himself did feel good about. So in a weak moment, what we end up doing, our buddhi doesn't work at that time. If you ask our 7th graders in 6th graders in Balavihar, they will rattle out complete ladder of fall. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu upajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho bhijayate क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृति विभ्रमः स्मृति भ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशः बुद्धिनाशात् false pranashyati. That is what had happened to our Parikshit Maharaj. And as Parikshit Maharaj repented and was feeling remorseful in himself, he heard that this Brahmin boy got so angry that Parikshit ji had insulted the Brahmin's father. He cursed him that dead snake that you have put on around my father's neck, one of these snakes, no, the king of the snakes, Takshaka, will come and kill you. Now normally when we have our DOD, DOB you understand, right? Date of birth. Now if you go into the market, anything that you purchase, perishable goods, there is a manufacturing date. Along with the manufacturing date, just in the next line, there is a expiration date. After that, if you use, you will expire. So something bad will happen to you. Similarly, when we are born, DOB is ready. Birth certificate. Whether we agree or not, DOD is also ascertained. King Parikshit was of a different class of a person. The moment he comes to know that I am bound to die in 7 days, the 7th day is my big day, he did not waste a single moment in crying or whining, why does this happen to me? Why does this have to happen always with me? Why does it have to happen only with me always? He didn't have any kind of such whining patterns. He immediately installed his child as the next king, gave up everything, went to Ganga's shores. In fact, I received a mail. I received a mail from some, we broadcast this on our website, on the Google videos. So I got a mail from some listener from somewhere who said, probably you have to correct your historical facts, that it was not on Ganga Tira, it was on Yamuna Tira. Well, there is Pathantara, different belief systems. The Smartha Sampradaya believes that it was in Ganga Tira. But the Vaishnava Sampradaya, they feel that it is in the shores of Yamuna, as the case can be. So I am not trying to prove either. I would go with what I have been taught, that it was Ganga Tira. So this Parikshit Maharaj goes there with the firm belief that Karyam va sadhayami, Shariram va patayami. Let me find that truth right here, right now. I have not much time to waste. And as soon as he took that prayopavesha, that he would not take even a sip of water. And what was his amazing viewpoint was, anyway, before 7 days I am not going to die. Because of the shapa of that Brahmin son, I am not going to die before those 7 days. Why waste time with input-output device? So let me focus completely on the Lord. Ekasane sthitaha. He took an asana, sat down. All the other rishis who knew about his greatness of his lineage, and the kripa of Lord Krishna himself on Parikshita, so all of them had assembled there, including Vyas Maharaj was there. There enters this enchanting Avadhuta. Avadhuta normally are not enchanting, but he was a Balavat. He was like a youthful Shukadev Maharaj enters. Now his Vairagya and abidance in the truth was so well known that his father himself stood up out of respect for Shukadevji, including along with the other great rishis who had assembled around Parikshit. Now to such Shukadevji, who never stayed in one place, go duha kalavat, like the time that takes to milk a cow, he would not stay more than that time. So he says, for your 7 days, ask what you want to ask so that you can focus on Lord. Now Parikshit also feels so blessed and asks the right question. So thus the first chapter, first canto ends, and the second canto, the different stories of the Mahabharata relevance are related to. In the end, it is said that Vidurji was asked by the Lord to go to a certain place and meet Maitreya Rishi. So now Parikshit ji is interested. Who told him to go there? Whom did he meet? How did he meet? When this Mahabharata war was happening, what happened to Vidura? Why did he have to leave the Kurukshetra, Hastinapura? Will you please enumerate that? Now that is where we are at the third canto, where we start. Shri Shuka Uvacha Evametat pura prishtaha Maitreyo Bhagavan kila Kshatravanam pravishtena Tyaktva swagruha mruddhitam mruddhimat. Why did, this is what is Shukadev ji saying, that Vidur ji had left his house and he was enjoying a very luxurious life in spite of his simple living. He had all luxuries around. That kind of luxurious life he left. Yadva ayam mantakridvaha Bhagavan Akhileshwaraha. That Vidurji, who was accepted by the Lord himself as his own. When the Pandavas had sent Lord Krishna as an ambassador on their behalf to the Kauravas, and Kauravas had schemed very beautifully that this Krishna would come and let us tie him down. Let us feed him with something that he gets intoxicated or faints away, and let's tie him down, and as long as Krishna is with them, he is their strength. Let us eliminate Krishna. This was the Kauravas' plan. But politely he declined Duryodhana's offer to be a host. And then uninvited, this is the Atithi. Tithi is a date. Atithi, the one who is so welcome that he does not require to inform that, hey, I am coming. And whom did he choose to stay with? It was Vidurji's house. So he knocked into Vidurji's house, and Vidurji was more than pleased. Just with the bhava that the Lord feels me as his own, that he could come in any time uninvited, and I am blessed. Now such a blessed Vidura, who had hosted the Lord himself, and there is also that famous story in Mahabharata, that he was so intoxicated in the Lord's presence. The word there is unmatta. He was completely immersed soaked in the devotion for the Lord, that when the Lord was sitting in front of him, he was feeding the Lord. Of all the things, what was he feeding? He was a different kind of sabari. Though he did not taste the fruits, he completely lost himself in presence of Lord. So in presence of Lord, what did he do? He took the fruit out, and he was offering bananas. He took the fruit out and fed Lord the skin. And the Lord also was so intoxicated with the devotion of the Bhakta that he just ate them. Meanwhile, Vidura's wife, who happens to come in there and said, she looks at Krishna first. मेरे पतिदेव का तो है ही नहीं. I can understand. I have lived with him for so many years. I understand that he does not have his upper chamber in proper coordinates. What happened to you, Krishna? If he is feeding you the skin of banana, why are you eating that? So that was the kind of acceptance, that was a kind of devotion, that was a kind of appreciation that the Lord had for Vidura. So such a house, such a great Vidura left Hastinapura. Raja Uvacha, Parikshita now asks, I also wanted to ask you the same thing, that why did Sri Vidurji leave his house? Shukadevji says, Yada tu raja swasutana sadhun pushnan dharmena vinishta drishtihi भ्रातुर विष्टस्य सुतान विबंधून प्रवेश्य लाक्षा भवने ददाह. उन दिनों की बात है, long ago. Yeah, that's how the story starts. Long ago, when Dhritarashtra was the king, he was given the responsibility of not just his 101 kids, but also the kids of the fatherless Pandavas. Now, instead of taking care of the Pandavas, Dhritarashtra, who felt happy that the kingdom that was supposed to be his, because of his blindness which he could not enjoy, came back to him. And he nourished the idea that that kingdom belonged to Kauravas right from beginning. And they were also very dushtatma. In Shukadevji's words, how were the Kauravas? They were dushtatma. What did they do? They were called Pancha Mahapataka, 5 great sins. They performed all these 5 sins meticulously against Pandavas. When they were young, they tried to feed poison to the Pandavas. But Bhima, that share of it which was supposed to be for the Pandavas, drank in one gulp the whole thing. Playing in the shores of Gangaji and then fell unconscious, and he came back from the Nagaloka 1,000 times more powerful than what he was, terrorizing even Dhritarashtra. Even Dhritarashtra was afraid of Bhima. That was the kind of strength that he could possess. And then what did they do? Praveshya Laksha Bhavane. They schemed, they planned to kill these Pandavas by asking them to stay in a Lakshagriha. Lakshagriha, something of the same format as these houses. That which could burn within 1 second. Highly inflammable material. Laksha is the wax. To be more specific, in those days they used to use the seal. You know, the king had a ring and he used to put that seal on every letter or document that he used to sign. That was his signature kind. And it was not on an ink. So what they would do is this laksha or this wax was melted and poured, and the seal of the king was used on it. Now Kauravas planned to build a huge house of this wax which could easily burn. Probably in between they had styrofoam or sheet rocks. In between the sheet rocks was filled with lakshag. And the house was given. And Vidurji was the one who saved them by, he had already known the plan and he had sent somebody to dig a huge tunnel for them. And all these Pandavas escaped. Then was the most undesirable, disenchanting thing that the Kauravas could do was to pull Draupadi into the Sabha, wherein all elders were there, and Duryodhana went to the heights of indecency, wherein he tried to strip her off with the orders of Duryodhana. So So that was the dushtata of these Kauravas. And she wept and wept. It is said, Swasrair harayantyaha kuchakunkumani. You know, when women have the Mangal Sutra, when they take the kumkum, sutra also they put little kumkum or haldi. So it is said that she was crying so loudly, so badly that her tears had wet her clothes, and her clothes were becoming atishokti, a little poetic way, that her cloth had become crimson color because of the kumkuma that was there on the sutra. Were these the atrocities alone? Dyute tu adharmena jitasya sadhoho. In the Dyuta, in the dice game, they were tricked by Shakuni because he used a certain kind of dice which he had a little power on, which he controlled himself, and stripped the Pandavas of all properties and assets that they had and threw them into the Vanavasa and 1 year of Ajnatavasa. And then after they completed it, they did not want to give this property back to them, assets back to them. At that time, Vidurji goes to Dhritarashtra, what is now today known by great people as Vidura Niti, Niti Shastra. He spoke his mind out to Dhritarashtra. He said, "Hey Dhritarashtra, Yudhishthira the Ajatashatroho pratiyachadayam titikshato durvishaham tavagaha sahanujo yatra vrkodarahihi shvashanrusha yatvamalam bibheshi." You have tested their patience enough. Don't torture them further. And you know that his brother, Saha Anujaha, whose Anuja? Yudhishthira's Anuja, Bhima, Vrikodaraha, who is like a Kala Sarpa, whom even you fear. You know his power. You are unnecessarily instigating such Bhima. And to tell you another fact, of the 100 Kauravas, one Kaurava goes to the Pandavas side, who was killed by Shakuni. The rest 99 Kauravas were killed by one person alone. And who was that? Bhima. Probably Vidura knew the capacities of Bhima and said, "Do not instigate ill will in these Pandavas. Give their property back." As he was speaking to them, it was considered as indecent that if two elders are speaking, the younger ones should not be uttering. In spite of that fact, Kauravas headed by Duryodhana, Suyodhana, Dushyasana, Karna and Shakuni, who were also present in that particular room, who got so angry with Vidura that they said something which was so painful. What did they say? Dasyaha sutam yad balinaiva prishtaha. What did they call Vidurji? This Dasi Putra, how dare he give us advice? In fact, who asked him to come inside? Because of his age. हिंदी में जो डायलॉग करते हैं, उम्र का लिहाज करते हो छोड़ देते, मारेंगे नहीं इसे. Respecting his age, निर्वास्यतामाशु पुरात श्वसानः. ask this old Dasiputra to get out of our kingdom. Now, having heard this, because what they were saying was not his concern, he was speaking to Dhritarashtra. He looked once at Dhritarashtra, hoping that he would say something to stop these kids. And Dhritarashtra kept silent. Maunam angikara lakshanam. When Dhritarashtra kept silent, it almost meant that I do agree with my kids, get out. So he left. As he was leaving the palace, what did he do? Swasyam dhanuhu. Dhanuhu, the bow and arrows. Dvari nidhaya mayam. On the threshold of the palace, he left his dhanush bhana. Why did he leave his dhanush and bhana? Here Dhritarashtra, this is to indicate that though I am leaving, I am not somebody who changes the parties. There was this politician, he was asked, sir, in the coming general elections, which party are you planning to get into? He said, how dare you even ask me that question? Do I look like somebody who changes parties? Never. I am always in the ruling party. So it is the swabhava of people that opportunists, that they change parties if their say is not agreed upon. But Vidura, who was the very dharmatma there, we have seen that story also in the second canto, wherein Vidura was the Yama in the earlier life. Because of certain shapa, he becomes Vidura. So dharmagnya as he was, righteous as he was, he said, I am not going to change my party now. I am leaving, as an indication saying that I am no more taking any arms. He left his Dhanushabhana at the threshold of the palace. Sa nirgataha kaurava punya labdhaha. This is the amazing thing. So far, if something was not happening to the Kauravas, it was because of goodwill of certain people. Like sometimes when we fall into debts, and then somebody who is well known in that community calls up the other people to whom you are indebted to and says, give him some time. Just by the word of it, they don't pester. Such was the greatness of Vidura that in his presence, the Kauravas had a long rope given by the Lord. Now he, leaving Kauravas' camp, that which was awaiting at the threshold as Vidura exited, entered Maranakala onto the palace. Because the Mahatma left, his umbrella was taken out forcefully by themselves, the Kauravas. Sa nirgataha kaurava punya labdhaha. Kauravas punya ceased to exist. Because the only punya that the Kauravas had was Vidura with them. And he, having left, abandoned these Kauravas, all the punya account was closed. What happened to him? He started going about to various different places, started doing his Tirtha Parikrama. Imagine somebody who is, probably in today's language they are called Secretary of State. He was of that level in Dhritarashtra's. Everybody else in other kingdoms also knew him. And he did not want to be disturbed by anybody's sympathy, anybody's attention. So what did he become? He took the Vesha of Avadhuta. Avadhuta Normally, avadhuta is a person, avadhuta in Sanskrit means somebody who is tiraskrita, somebody who is abandoned by the society. They don't want to get near that person. Now, I am not talking of a criminal. I am talking of a Mahatma who does not follow any kinds of rules and regulations set up for the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, or the Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa, Ashrama. They are beyond all that. So he became like on his face or his appearance was almost like a drunkard or somebody who had lost his senses. But he used to get into that guise of beard, unkempt and dirty clothes on, so that nobody would recognize him or disturb him. And he didn't want, because he was well known in those areas and he did not want to be disturbed by anybody. He did not go on a Tirtha Yatra with all prior booking and itinerary setup, and then in every place have a 5-star treatment, call them several times to confirm your booking. No, that is not Tirtha Yatra. Probably that is why we don't get Tirtha Punya also, Tirtha Yatra Punya. Because remember, I had taken 2 years ago to Chardham Yatra. First question everybody asked. I can understand of the people who have grown here, the kids who have grown here, I can understand if they ask me that question as a problem. But it was the adults. That is when I felt that I should take all these to Kailash Yatra. Na rahegi baas, na bajegi basuri. The first question, will there be toilets? Or Tirtha Yatra is meant for Lord, for the darshan of different kshetras of the Lord, not for confirming your toilets. Toilet buddhi. That is why I said I'll take them to Kailash Yatra. Because at least in the Himalayan, Indian side of the Himalayas, you have some form of toilet. In Kailash Yatra, दूर गगन के तले, open space, find your own space, myspace.com, wherever you go. There is no toilet facility there. Those of you who have gone will appreciate what I am saying. Tirtha Yatra gets its punya phala when manasa, vacha, with the body, mind, intellect so tuned to the Lord, having complete balance on these indriyas. Whenever you visit different Tirtha Kshetras, you are reminded with each Tirtha Kshetra of the Lord and nothing but the Lord. Like when some people take me to certain neighborhoods where they are living and they show, yes, Swami, that Mavericks, that player, it is his house. It's actually a big, huge palatial building. And 4 houses down the lane is the hockey player. नाम भी पता नहीं रहता, दिखाते इतना बड़ा घर है. And this fellow is the owner of the Mavericks. It is his house. So whenever such, they keep showing, whom do you remember? That person. But in Tirtha Kshetra, like you take an example, you go to Vrindavan. When you go to Vrindavan, first of all, the people there are so sweet. Vrindavan is an old city, so the streets are very narrow. And there are these rickshaw pullers. When you are in the way, they don't say, "Are baju hut." No, there is only one word that they say, "Radhe Radhe." And they keep screaming Radhe Radhe at different pitches, different tones. Chal But the beautiful part is, they will not use a cuss word. Even if they are irritated, the only word that they utter is Radhe. And you keep going to every place, it is a different feel. I'm sure if you go there, the only thing that you will see is, oh boy, there are a lot of pigs. The drainage is not good. Yatha drishti, tatha srishti. As is your vision, so is the scope of this universe. See, if there is something which is so treasured, something which is an antique, something which is so treasured, something which is having a lot of value, like somebody in those days used this cricket bat, and then there is such a huge gathering for the auction to buy out that particular unique piece. वैसे ऑक्शन तो बहुत सारी चीजों का करते हैं यहाँ पे, the pop stars and know not what all they sell there, and there are enough crazy people to value that and buy that also. When you go into Vrindavan, imagine 5,000 years ago, it was that very land on which Lord walked, Lord danced, Lord did all his leelas. It was that Govardhana Parvata that he lifted single-handedly on his left pinky. And when you go with this attitude to Vrindavan, kan kan mein Krishna base hai. Every particle there is nothing but Krishna. Yatha drishti tatha srishti. You go into that place wherein it is called, it is the place wherein he had his Rasa Leela. There is a beautiful garden wherein even today they believe that Krishna comes and dances there. One of the gopis had dug a well for him and that water still oozes. In that particular, there is one particular pond wherein he is believed to come regularly with Balrama and his other friends for a swim, for a pleasure swim, a leisure playing around. And it is from that pond that they take out the Gopi Chandana. And there are other stories also about Gopi Chandana. Then the Yamuna Tira, that is where he danced on the Kaliya. So everything reminds us of the Lord and nothing but the Lord. That is called Tirtha Yatra. If our constant focus is my room booked? Is my dinner going to be ready? It should be hot. It should be to my specifications. Am I going to have my comforter? And worst of all, am I going to have the toilet? तो वो दृष्टि कहाँ पे है तीर्थ यात्रा की? And because he was so well known, he did not want to be disturbed by anybody's sympathies or attention. He disguised himself as though he was a madcap. And he used to go around all these different tirtha kshetras. Itham vrajan bharatameva varsham kalena yavad gatavan prabhasam. After having traveled different parts of these tirtha kshetras, Kashi, Prayaga, Pushkara, different places, the Chardham, he reached the place of Prabhasa. Having reached the kshetra of Prabhasa, I am reading in the 20th shloka, Tavat Shasasa Kshitimeka Chakram Ekatapatram Ajitena Parthaha. He comes to know at Prabhasa kshetra that under Krishna's guidance, Yudhishthira along with his brothers had become the Ekachatrapati. He had become the emperor of this whole Bharatavarsha. And he was in a dilemma now. Should he feel good or should he feel bad? See, when there is a war between two different kingdoms, you can say that person was trying to enrich his kingdom, expand his kingdom. You can enlist many reasons. But the war that had happened in the Mahabharata times was not a war between kingdoms. It was within the family. So he was more pained that the first cousins did not have enough understanding. And some Mahatma said very beautifully, the Kala Dharma as it changes from Ramayana to the Mahabharata, if you see the pattern or the trend, Ramayana times were the times when each brother wanted to give up his kingdom to the rest of the brothers. Rama and Lakshmana left the Ayodhya Puri for Bharata and Shatrughna. Bharata and Shatrughna in turn come searching for Rama and Lakshmana, saying, "It is yours, take it." And that was the kind of audaryata in that particular time. Whereas in Mahabharata time, not only that they were kicked out of their own kingdom, but when asked for righteously five small cities, they were refused. In fact, Duryodhana goes on to say that space that could have been on the tip of a needle, I am not going to spare even that much, let alone 5 cities. Do what you can do. So the grabbing mentality, aggrandizing mentality, capitalism was its heights. I don't need to go into the depths of explaining capitalism in those days. So this, he gives a very beautiful example here. He says, it is something like the bamboo, when it grows in the forest, in the summer times it dries up. And because of even little wind, they rupture against each other. And that rupture can create enough friction to catch fire. Have you seen bamboo burning? It catches fire so fast. And because of the internal rupture of this bamboo, the whole forest gets destroyed. So he was feeling so pained that because of the stupidity between these cousins, almost 5 generations were lost in one Mahabharata war. So as he was feeling bad, in order to take his mind off, he went to different Tirtha Kshetras around Prabhasa Kshetra. And as he had completed his Tirtha Yatra in Prabhasa Kshetra, he slowly came down towards the shores of Yamuna Nadi. When he reached the shores of Yamuna Nadi, he says, Kalena tavad Yamunam upetya. Kalena, in due course of time, he reached to the shores of Yamuna Nadi. There, Tatra, Uddhavam Bhagavatam Dadarsha. He met Uddhavji Maharaj. Now, who is Uddhava? Sa Vasudevanucharam Prashantam Brahaspatehe Pak Tanayam Pratitam. In his earlier life, he was the student of Brahaspati. And now he was Vasudeva Anucharam. He was a great servant of the Lord. And he was his cousin also. Uddhava was the cousin of Lord Sri Krishna. As soon as he saw Uddhavji, Vidurji's mind immediately thought of Lord Krishna. Because they say that Uddhavji resembled almost like Sri Krishna ji. So he ran towards Uddhavji. Alingya gadam pranayena badram. He hugged him so tightly, as though he was hugging the Lord himself. And then he starts asking, Kritakshanau kushalam shura gehe. He started asking about the well-being of all the Yaduvamshis. Now what had happened to these Yaduvamshis? He started asking in detail about every single person by naming them. So the first one that he asked was the father of Krishna, Vasudeva. How is he? He is a great Mahatma because of his big heart. He stands as an example of how to take care of your family. This is what Vidurji says about Vasudevji. See, in earlier days, today's Hindu law says differently, but in earlier days, the Hindu code of law, property was equally distributed between sons and daughters. Now when they say property, there are two kinds of property. Achala property and Chanchala property. Achala property are the assets, the fields, the house. This was given to the sons. As long as the father was alive, a share of the produce from the fields, the share of all that was gained by them in that year was sent equally distributed to all the daughters also. Every year it was being sent. And once the father dies, the daughters cease to get anything. Till then, they used to get this liquidation. Lot of dhana and dhanya was given as property, shared property with the daughter. But Vasudevji was so great that in spite of his father dead, he used to send the dhana and dhanya to his sisters as his father would have done. And not only that, he would also take care of the families of his wives with deep concern and love. Said that great Mahatma Vasudeva, to whom Lord Krishna was born. Now when you think of these people, what kind of tapascharya, what kind of punya they must have had in their balance. Vasudeva and Devaki. And the other side it was Yashoda and Nandaji. To have Lord Krishna as their son. Imagine the one who could take care of the whole universe. When Yashodaji started scolding him, would stand with his hands closed. And though not real tears, false crocodile tears as they say it, but still he would stand with his hands closed in front of Yashodaji. The one who could command the entire universe was standing in the command of Yashoda. The one who would bind anything else in this universe was bound in the love of Yashoda. What great individual, what great personality they must have been. What kind of purity their heart must be. That the Lord was there with them as their child. And if you take up each character around Sri Krishna, and there's much to talk about Lord, we'll focus on that. Think about each person around Krishna. Even the people who had a lot of vengeance against Krishna must have done a lot of tapasya. Kamsa was scared of Krishna. Shishupala, he was jealous of Krishna because of the prominence that he would get, and he would hate him. The most delicate relation that I still think about is Draupadi. Why Draupadi? Because it was more like a friend. And she was a very brave and a strong lady. And her relation with Krishna was like a friend, and she would treat him like a friend. Imagine what kind of punya that they must have done to have Krishna as their friend, as their son, as their husband. And each one thought that they had Krishna all for themselves. Great Vasudevji. And that great Ugrasena, who was bound by Kamsa and was released by Krishna. Now Ugrasenji says, "Hey Krishna, now that you have come, take the responsibility of this Yaduvamsha." He very politely reinstalls Ugrasenji as the king. He says, "Under you we'll all be one." How is that Ugrasena? One by one he takes every single name. The Senapati of the Yaduvamsha, Pradyumna. How is Pradyumna? How is Satvata, Vrishni, Bhoja, Darha Vamshi? And every single Vamsha was taken and mentioned by Vidurji. Because for Vidurji, he was more talking about each one of them because the Lord was with them. I mean, you know that Lord was with them and Lord had spent so much of time with them. Under Ugrasenaji, it is said that every single cousin, first cousin of Lord Krishna was trained by Lord Krishna to become a Maharathi. He would spend time in the morning, they call it in Hindi, Akhada. Akhada, the training place, what we call today as the gymnasiums. So he would train each one of them personally to become a great Yodha. How is each one of them? And of course, he also says, how are the wives of Sri Krishna? How are the children of Sri Krishna? How is Sri Krishna himself? Now at Prabhasa, he comes to know that the Kauravas are dead and the Pandavas are installed as the king. Now here when he meets Uddhavji, he asks about everything about the Lord. And when he is asking so much detail about the Lord, Uddhavji probably must have been having tears in his eyes. Because by then, what had happened was that the Lord had completed his Leela, finished his Leela, withdrawn. And when a devotee meets another devotee, what becomes a prominent thing to talk about is the Lord alone. If there are two IT specialists, they meet, what do they talk about? Codes. Code, uncode, decode, that is what is their language. if there are two teachers, professors, about their papers, local school system, the ISDs, and the teachers meet. When the few deshis meet, what is the main issue or topic that we talk about? Today it would be cricket. Today it would be cricket because India won over Bermuda. Janna pehchan. Some country and they won. And today they will be talking about the greatness of each batsman, greatness of each bowler. The other day when they lost it with Bangladesh, I knew when I was going in different gatherings, not a single player was spared. Every single player was ridiculed, questioned their presence in the Indian team. Tendulkar, he should resign. He should not resign, retire. Ganguly, Dravid, and they keep criticizing them. A bunch of deshis today they will be talking that yes, cricket. If cricket is not the issue, then they will be talking about how good this country is, how bad that country is, how smooth life is here, and how bad the corruption is there. If not anything else, when two people meet, there are only two topics that we focus on. If there is no agenda, if there's just a usual gossip section, there are only two topics. Either prove how good I am, I did this, I did that, when I did this, I got that, I. And if you find that there is somebody, that even trace of it is bigger than you, better than you, then you talk about how bad the world is. Either you talk good about yourself or talk about how bad the world is. Positive advertisement, negative advertisement. When you watch the ad campaigns, there are some products which talk about their goodness. There are other products which talk about the rest of the competing products and how bad they are. They don't tell one good thing about themselves. They tell about the rest of the products how bad they are. Similarly, the same mentality. Once when we were in the ashram, our Acharya was going out for a week, and probably just as a test, he did not give us an agenda. 1 week, and there's nothing given as specific to do. And some of us who thought that, probably Guruji must have forgotten, so we went together and asked, Swamiji, 1 week there's nothing to do, what should we do? And he said, Atmagan karo. And we asked him, what is Atmagan? Is it a text written by somebody? We never heard of it. Is there a commentary? Somebody has written an English commentary or a Hindi commentary or some translation of it? They said, no. One of you get onto the stage. Either talk about how good you are and how bad the world is, and when that first person gets down within a week, then the other person can go up and talk the same thing about himself. Atmagan karo. Remember in our very generic casual gossips, we open up all Kali Purana. Kali Purana is something which is unpertained to the Lord, pertained to this colossal idiocracy called ego and bloat. the greatness about this. But when two devotees meet, nothing else matters. In fact, a true devotee is happy only when they find another devotee who is not interested in how are you, how are your stocks, how are you investing your money. They are interested only in how is your sadhana. How close are you rooted towards the Lord? What are your experiences with the Lord? Narrate your experiences. Share your experiences. That is how a devotee feels really satisfied. They even forget about the rest of the world. They forget about their food, their nidra, everything. Now, as soon as Vidurji asked about everybody in detail, it is said that in Mahabharata there is not a single character. There are millions of characters in Mahabharata mentioned. There is not a single character whose name gets repeated. Imagine, this is on the side, imagine Vedavyasji, he remembered all those million characters and how he narrated the story. And imagine this Vidurji, he must have been in his 90s or 100s, and he mentions each one of them by name, that they were all close to the Lord. How are they? Sri Shukadevji in the second chapter starts saying, Iti bhagavatah prishtaha kshatra vartam priyashrayam prativaktum nachotseha outkantyat smariteshwaraha. Outkantyat is choked with his emotions that he met a great devotee of the Lord, Vidura. It seems Uddhavji started talking about the Leelas of the Lord. Now when he starts, he says, Tivrena bhakti yogena nimagnaha sadhu nirvrataha. Who is a bhakta? Now we find different kinds of definitions, right? That who is a bhakta? Now this is a beautiful definition by Shukadevji. He says, the one who is nimagnaha sadhu nirvrataha tivrena. The one who is nimagna, soaked in, immersed in the devotion for the Lord. Nothing but the Lord. Such one is a true devotee of the Lord. They don't complain about the kind of environment they are in, the kind of situation that they are in. I could not do my japa, puja or remembering the God because I had my overwhelming presentation that I had to give in my office, or because my child had something to do, or my wife had something to do, my husband had something to do, or my situation itself is bad. I am so much traveling nowadays, I cannot spend time. Who is a bhakta? The one who prioritizes Lord before anything else in this universe. Tivrena, nothing but only the Lord as a first priority. I like this Mahatma statement. I don't mind repeating as many number of times. This Mahatmaji got up. I was traveling with him. He got up. And the first thing that he did as he got up was took out his japmala, sat down and started doing japa. For half an hour, 40 minutes he did his japa. A great Mahatma. I coming from my ashram, it was like soon immediately after my Diksha that I was traveling with this Mahatma. So I was like shocked. It was like scandalized, not even shocked, scandalized by this Mahatma's behavior. Because normally the first thing that you do is get up, cleanse yourself, take a shower, cleanse yourself, and then come and do your japa puja sadhana. And this thing was bothering in my head. But somehow I could not pull myself to ask this Mahatmaji, why did he do what he did? I kept quiet. But that was something that was constantly thinking about, why did he do this? Why did he do this? Somewhere in the afternoon as we were walking, he called me. He said, Mahatmaji. And he used to call everybody as Mahatmaji. आप अभी भी वही सोच रहे हैं? Are you still thinking about my early morning japa? And as shameless as I could be, I said, yes, I'm very much thinking about it. And what that Mahatmaji said stands out in my head always. He said, the moment I wake up, he was putting it more like the moment this sense of I-ness, the ego wakes up, the first relation that this I should have is with the Lord than with anything else in this world. Nothing else gets its validity unless I tune myself to the Lord first. Rest comes later. If I do not tune myself to that Lord, this I doesn't feel worth existing. So before I allow the worldliness to creep in, I sit and start thinking about the Lord, remembering the Lord. That is the first thing that I do. See, each Mahatma, when you read about them, when you deal with them, when you be with them, their approach is unique in their own way. Like Sabari's bhakti is, he says, if it is to the Lord, it should be perfect. Now, how do you know if it is perfect or not? I'll taste it. It's my all-time favorite story to talk to the kids. The only thing that they come up at the end and say, so Swamiji, before I give prasad to the Lord, it is okay to taste, right? But she was not tasting for herself. She was tasting it for the Lord, to offer to the Lord. She did not gobble up everything that was tasting good. The moment she tasted it was good, she gave it to the Lord. I love that incident wherein Lakshmanji was irritated with Shabari. अरे बुढ़िया, मेरे भाई को झूठा खिलाती है? You old woman, do you know who it is? It is Sri Ramji there, and you give your tasted remains. And most of the dialogues between Ramji and Lakshmanji was through eyes. They would not speak much. Through the eyes they would understand each other. So Ramji looked at him. He said, "Chup." After having tasted one, the next one that Shabari offered, he gave it to Lakshmanji. Now Lakshmana was like, ew. And to his surprise, he understood that was the best fruit that he had ever eaten. Now after that first fruit, he was eagerly waiting. Ramji, one more. And Ramji did not turn at him, look at him even. That was the devotion of Sabari. Now this Mahatma made that point so clear. The first thing that you do, when you wake up, is relate yourself to the Lord. Rest of the relations are not worth the priority. That is what it means here. Tivrena bhakti yogena nimagnaha sadhu nirvrataha. Now with such tivrata, when two devotees stand in front of each other, if you see, they did not ask about how are you, how are you. Normally it is our pleasantries, right? And normally when I to the Balvi arcades, I say Hari Om. They think that I am asking how are you. I said I am good. How are you? Then I clarified to them. I didn't say how are you. I said Hari Om. Oh. And then go. I said say Hari Om back. If you remember here, they did not ask about each other. How are you? No. Knowing each other that they were the truest form of devotees available, they did not want to waste any other time talking about anything else. Immediately, Uddhavji starts talking, Uddhava Vacha. The first thing that he says is such a painful thing that he shares with Vidura. He says, with the absence of the Surya like Krishna, all our families are gone, eaten up by the serpent of Kala, gobbled up by the serpent of Kala, in the absence of Lord Krishna. So all his queries were answered in one sentence. What had happened to the Vrishni Vamsha was that they killed each other at the end. That is how Lord had planned for them. Because they had become so powerful in his presence, because he had to have he had to create that kind of a strength to shake up the universe, the system. And if he had left them anywhere where there is an extra power, and that power corrupts absolutely. So he made sure that that power ceased to exist. So in one question, in one line, he says the whole queries answered. Kim nunah kushalam bruyam gatashrishu griheshvaham. Now with the Lord gone, what to talk of kushala of anybody else or anything else? That who is the very essence of our life, when he is gone, what do you talk about? How are you living? Durbhagaha bata lokoyam yadavo nitaramapi ye samvasantaha na viduhu harim meena ivodupa. He reminds Vidurji of the story of moon. It seems moon was first living in the ocean. And he was so bright. When you look at the moon, it is the brightest thing in the sky. Imagine that bright moon into the ocean. So the other fishes thought that he is also a fish, but little a brighter fish. ये अपना ही है, पर थोड़ा स्टाइल मारता है. They never valued. But when the Lord took that Chandra onto his forehead and kept him in the sky, so beautiful is the explanation here. As the ocean feels the pangs of separation, and any opportunity given, it jumps up to reach towards that moon, to touch as though the moon. When do the oceans have high tides? No, whenever there is a moon, there is a high tide. The highest tide is on the full moon day. So every night the ocean puts an effort to meet its own missing part, which is up there shining. Our condition is also like that. Wherein that Jyoti that was within us, that itself gone, we feel deeply that pangs of separation, that the Lord is no more with us. Then Uddhavji says that the Lord was compassionate enough, at least to me, that before he completed his Leela, he gave such a beautiful message to me. And though I am the Yadava, the rest of them were gone, Lord wanted me to stay back and give this message of Lord to everybody. Now Vidurji says, "Arey, badhiya baat hai. Sunao. Now whatever was the Lord's message, you tell it to me." Uddhavji says, "No. I will not tell you." Why? Because while Bhagavan was giving this message to Uddhava, Maitreya Rishi also happened to be there. And the instruction given to Maitreya Rishi was to find Vidurji to give this message, this knowledge to Vidur. So who was responsible to give the knowledge? Maitreya Rishi. So Vidurji humbly said, "No sir, I cannot give you this knowledge because Lord has specifically thought of you in the last moment and arranged for Maitreya ji to deliver that knowledge to you." Vidura suddenly stood like a rock there, completely immersed in the thought of Lord, about how thankful he was for the Lord, that in the last moment of Lord's Leela, he thought of Vidura. How great Vidura must have been, man. You think like that, the last thing that is there in your mind. Now when you are leaving a particular place, you are moving out of a place, you are in so much of a hurry to pack your things, to grab your things, to see that things are done there, posted, mailed, and then people who are coming to, what do you call them? Movers. You are busy with your movers and other things. And then at that time, at that busy time, you pick the phone and say, call somebody, meet up with somebody and say, "I really wanted to say thanks to you." How touched do you feel? In spite of such busy schedule of that person, took some time off specifically to meet you. You feel so good. Now imagine the Lord himself, before completing his Leela, specifically thinks that this message should be given to Vidura. Romancha, he had horripilations all over, he had tears flowing down. And that is the zenith, that is the heights of a bhakta. We normally are asked to think of the Lord. Now here is the Lord who thinks of the bhakta. How great that bhakta must be. Now Maitreya says, Vidurji says, "Where is Maitreya now?" He says, "Maitreya ji is somewhere in Badrikashram." No, I have to go to Badrikashram. Maitreya ji is somewhere near the Ganga Sagar, Ganga Tata. Off goes Vidurji in search of Maitreya ji. So what happens? That we will see tomorrow. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.